Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Did I have the clock up there or not? I don't know. I clicked it and then I clicked wrong and I don't know. Anyways, I just had the open. They moved it down. I actually think I want a piece of that. Did I do that right? Yes, I did. Okay, cool. So let's go to the charts. Good grief. It's going. PU cause. Hi, hey, thank you for joining us. You're right here, right on time. I hope you guys are ready to trade. Because I am, apparently I am not. I feel a little off kilter here. Okay, so here's the treasuries. We're up a little bit overnight. Yesterday was relatively quiet. They're going to be trying to price in FOMC, so like anything could happen. But man, that was a really aggressive move off of the open. So let's see where that goes. In the E-mini, you can see down to flat. Not much. I can't show you a chart of it, but I was looking earlier on the overnight action on the Chinese dollar, and that was moving up. You can also see gold is moving up. 6J having a spike here. So something's going on in the currencies. All of the currencies are moving. Is there some news coming out here? Well, let's come back over to the main chart here. Just being me, what's news? I don't know. Because can I ask if price will go up and up from this moment, or can I expect some low prices to buy some? I see, so aggressive up in prices. But how long time? Well, it looks like they're selling the treasuries pretty hard here. Let's, I got to do some investigation here, guys. What's going on? Something's up. Russia's FSB says North Korean crew were racketeers. Don't know what that's about. Well, they balanced. I can see some pressure. I sold some and I'm already 20% on loose. You sold some what? Some Bitcoin? Oh, I hope it wasn't Bitcoin. Tell me it wasn't Bitcoin. And whatever it was not necessarily kind to equities either. Oh, it was Bitcoin? Well, in the short term, I really cannot predict what Bitcoin is going to do. I really can't. The price action doesn't look incredibly positive to me. It's interesting. Yesterday, well, really overnight, they tried buying it, and they didn't get over the previous high at 10.4. So I don't know. WeWork bonds drop by most on record as IPO delayed. Paul Krugman has a new article out this morning. Is Trump's foreign policy driven by his personal financial interests or by a general affection for murderous tyrants? Not a question ever expected to ask a U.S. president. Okay, except for that, you're supposed to be an economist. Why don't you talk about the economy, you Nimrod? I don't like him. I don't think he's credible. Well, they're coming back up. They're trying to come back up. They're having a little bit of trouble at 09. This move right here is not what I'm seeing in the currencies. Is certainly there was an overnight move in the currencies, but it was not big moves on very, very few ticks. And yeah, I don't know. Seems weird. They're not taking 9.5 yet. 09 went offer again. 08.5 not pulling. I am seeing some activity. I keep seeing them stack and pull on the ask at 10. My phone is being spied on by the FBI. It's making that weird noise. You ever get that thing where your cell phone interferes with your headphones? Makes me so suspicious. Makes me so suspicious. Alligator says he's leaning on the Bears losing the battle. I don't know. Okay, now there's absorption at 09. The US dollar repo rate continuing to spike, highest since 2003. Not sure what that means. On this, so they took 09 bid, and now everything is cooled off. So that's not a huge positive for bulls. Those that turn down the other way and tick down. A few hitting 08.5, but holding for now. Canadian manufacturing sales. Okay, there's a down tick. Somebody trying to bump it back up, but it held. That was happening all at 07.5. That's not positive. I think we're in a good spot. There was a Canadian manufacturing sales -1 spot 3 versus spot 3. Not a number that normally affects us though. We do get capacity utilization rate, industrial production at 7:15. So in about 45 minutes, and then NAHB housing market index at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Thin ice, says alligator. Didn't start the robot for you guys. Let's do that. Oops. There we go. Well, they're not pushing it on either side. I'm not quite sure what to make of this, folks. I don't know if this means that there wasn't really a good trade there, or if there's two really big people on competing sides of a trade that think they know something, or if we're waiting for something that I don't know about, or something happened that I don't know about. It's going back and forth across 09. ICYM, a dollar funding storm is set to make landfall in weeks. What happens next? And so the currency is moving. Houthi spokesman to Al Jazeera, UAE deserves to be targeted at this time more than ever. Okay. So they took away half again, but somebody's willing to buy it there. I want to see that buy order on 29.95 get hit in ES. The 250? Yeah. It's not a huge order, but look at that one down at 29.90. That's interesting as well. But nothing too dramatically off. Although the E-mini is fallen here, isn't it? E-mini is not in line with what the treasuries are saying. Well,
YouTube
they didn't
IA
hold
was
08.
300 before lol.
Oh, it was 300 before? A little pulled. That's not unusual for a little bit to pull as it come down to it, though. That 1,000 hit into 08 half, and now it's stacking up to 1,600 in the 10-year. Kind of makes me wonder. It's like the big orders died down too. Oh, wow. Our video that we put out yesterday about what the best futures trading platform is doing pretty okay. It's not amazing, but it's doing pretty okay, and it's got a really good watch percentage too, which I'm happy about. So thank you guys. Ooh, an 11% click-through rate? Wow, really? Well, that can't last. There's no way. That must just be from everybody seeing, oh, he's got a new video out and putting them out. We'll see if that holds for in a week, because it's already kind of dying down. It's just even now on the level 2. E-mini did break the low. It's pretty lackadaisical about it. Okay, now they just busted through. There's some sort of a buy program buying 08 still. That was weird. Don't you think? Just being me thinks we're going up in the treasuries. It seems to me that on the upside, somebody's trying to push it up. It's unclear if that was them trying to push it through or if they were going for a reversal. But we have had some flips down that have been quite dramatic. Okay. So somebody seems insistent. Maybe the reason it's acting this way is because they're both I'm starting to think more and more that there's um, fairly large interests on both sides of this, and I'm wondering if maybe they're
YouTube algo lover GM winking face.
hey, good morning, alcohol lover. I'm wondering if they're both surprised that somebody's fighting them. They, in other words, like they both think they know something. I have more than enough, and if there are ways that this can help out the athletic department, the other programs and coaches by not tying up so much in men's basketball, that's my desire. Why is FX Macro talking about that? Virginia men's basketball coach Tony Bennett turned down a $500,000 raise and instead asked that his money used to be paid staff more and help the program. Okay, 08 goes offer and 07 half is getting weaker. Um, kind of getting these. So they're stacking at 08 half, and it's kind of stacking and pulling as 07 half goes back and forth. There's some sort of an iceberg at 07 half. I'm going to come in and load my levels. Okay. Let's see.
YouTube PV. Sorry, I'm sure you get this often, but what setting do you use for trade of 8? Clear trades timer interval for the treasuries?
Oh, good question. I think that on this one is just the default. 2,500. Yeah, 2.5 seconds. You know what's funny? Because sorry, what is his name? John Grady. Because I really base my trading off of what I learned from John Grady's course, right? Of course, I think you find your own setups and everything, but that's kind of like the primer, right? And he likes to use 10 seconds. And I've been coming over here into the E-mini, and I have it at 10 seconds on
YouTube
the E-mini.
PV. Yeah, John uses 10s, I think.
Yeah. But I like it with 2.5 seconds because to me, I find that the amount that it took to clear every time matters. Of course, if it goes back and forth and ticks in like a 3 tick range, and you want to see was there more absorbed on the bid than there was on the offer, I totally get why some people do the 10-second one, but that just never really stuck out for me. It never really seemed to help me. And I feel like I get a much better read from just knowing how much it ticked down. Like seeing that there's an iceberg here. And then if we tick up at 08 again, how much of this actually sticks, you know? If it's more than 1,000, then I would, it's going to stick out to me. So that's why I do it that way. But I don't think it really particularly matters. I don't know if it's really going to give you a huge edge or anything like that. For me, maybe I should go into this a bit because
YouTube Algo Lover ZN. If buyers hold above 129.045, they'll attempt to bid up into 129.135. Thumbs up.
Okay, so they ticked up and it was 900 and fairly weak offer. So we're still kind of like in the middle. So the thing that I pay attention to more is I'm looking for an area where there's a lot of people that appear to want to take action, but they never actually get filled or whatever it is. So I have a little histogram that attempts to show that to me. But I'm looking for, if I see a lot of level 2 activity at a spot, that to me is a signal that somebody's pushing it or that people are excited for some reason. 60% of the time, that's going to result in a reversal. But that 60%, that's pretty tough. So you can't take it as a reversal every time. You've kind of got to look at it contextually and determine what it's going to do. E-mini did make a little bit of a turn. Yeah, I'm wondering if we get. So I'm seeing a couple of names like IA and PV, both new people. So first of all, welcome. I'm wondering if you guys found us through the video that we posted yesterday because it seems like for some reason YouTube likes that one a little bit more than some of the other videos we've done, which is cool. But always happy to. Um, I mean,
YouTube, Algo Lover,
oh,
ZN129, 215 is line in sand for sellers to halt this squeeze and turn the MKT or not, nerd face.
hmm. It's interesting that you have those. I mean, you have any thoughts about this kind of churning action that we're seeing here off of the open algo lover? This volume is terrible. Feels like we need a Trump tweet.
YouTube, IA. No, I just went and watched it when you mentioned was nice.
Oh, cool. Just went and watched it when you mentioned it. Oh, okay. You're here. You're here more often. You just maybe don't talk as much. Wait, what? Sean Spicer, thank you, Governor Huckabee.
YouTube,
Clearly,
Algo Lover. Not really, maybe FOMC lead up, but it all runs together unless there's a liquidation break or something. Thumbs up.
yeah, which could totally happen. I mean, that was the thing. It was when it came out and they were selling it on the open and that aggressively. I was like, okay, somebody's clearly has a plan to come out and sell it today. But then it's kind of been fighting it, you know? So I feel like this is like, I'm just going to speculate like super hard here. I think this is like one person knows that the FOMC meeting is going to be slightly more hawkish than expected, and somebody else thinks they know something about um, the attack in Saudi Arabia that is going to cause more global uncertainty. And so you got one guy that wants to buy it and one guy that wants to sell it. And they both think they know something. That's what it seems like. But then you get to like the inflection point and you're like, okay, something's definitely happening here. And then it's just like it's dead. It's like it's just ranging around randomly. Well, they took the downtick. And this is another thing that can be really frustrating about this kind of action is that it will seemingly it'll seemingly break on no volume for no reason. It's just like what? All that drama and then when you get the end thing, it's just kind of just does it. Hmm. Well, that was a slight
YouTube,
move out of the
Algo
range.
Lover, Mon. 12:11 p.m. Algo Lover S. They're setting the range. 3010 needs to go on the upside or 2983 on the downside to confirm direction. Above 3010 bullish, below 2983 anticipate deeper pullback. Nerd face.
It's interesting that you're still looking at 3010. Gap closed. Was there a gap? Not sure I understand that one, but okay. I'm thinking if they do move. Okay. What the hell? That was like what? Treasuries don't do that. That was really weird.
YouTube, algo lover. Yep, it's still the level for buyers to regain for continuation or not. Okay, hand.
Yeah. Okay, well there's a big iceberg at 06 half. The 5-year sold that hard. They must all have, like their listening devices at the Federal Reserve meeting and Powell just said something dramatic. They all sold. I don't know. That's weird though. Kuwait foreign minister calls on armed forces to be on high alert and be prepared to confront any incidents which might destabilize the security of the country. That's Kuwait. Hmm.
YouTube, algo lover. 129,045 holds for continued push up or it doesn't. Okay, hand.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's your spot because there's well, it's changed now that there was the iceberg at 06 half, but before the point of control was at 05. And normally when they come through and they trade through like point of control, for instance, they usually will do one tick beyond it. And look, there is some liquidity down there at both levels, which is something that again I is not uncommon, but we have not seen for months. I have not seen one like that for months. If that pulls if they get down there and that pulls at 05, 04 half, then you report that one, right? Okay. That's kind of interesting. I keep seeing Zero Hedge talk about the US overnight repo rate spiking, which is probably why I see these spikes in the currency futures. But I have no clue. I don't know very much about that, and I don't know what effect it actually has on treasuries. Okay, so they are able to trade 05 half. So now we have a choice. We can see if this holds, or we can kind of see if it falls through. Well, if it falls through, I don't want to get filled. So we're going to have to take an order here as we go. Okay. Okay. So I'm also noticing that on those falls, there was not significant pushing in the 10-year. I am seeing uh, more activity in the 5-year. And although the 10-year has ticked up, the 5-year has not. And the sell pressure appears to be in the 5-year. So I think we should rely on the 5-year for our read here. They just ticked it down and stacked again. Okay, that time they went together. Now I'm looking to see if they do any kind of a level break setup here at 05 half. They might stick an iceberg and try and absorb like 3,000 at 05 half. A few of the 04 half have pulled. It's kind of tepid. It could do either or here. I think um, my gut says that they're going to try and hit it, but given the degree, uh,
YouTube Ace Trades Morning.
hey Ace, given the degree of the move, um, which hasn't been like just clear out trend, we're still kind of sitting here wondering like what's going on. I would have to say that whether or not it goes through 05 and 04 half is going to be a 50-50. Well, they haven't absorbed a ton there at 05 half yet. There's a higher probability definitely when multiple prices stack. A fact that I think that they've been using against us in the treasuries. Okay. So they ticked up 2673 is okay. The Hill, new storm rises over Kavanaugh. Yeah.
YouTube Algo Lover. This bounce, like all, is in search of sellers but anticipated a level higher for offers, i.e. 129, 135 to 40 maybe okay hand.
Yeah.
YouTube popularity matters. Do just go all in and win this poker game.
Sell 5 at 05 half and let's do it. All YOLO on the level break.
YouTube Payuchos, haha.
I wish. So like we keep saying, like I could totally just say, hey, I'm on sim. Let's just pretend that we're not and do reckless trades. I'm sure
YouTube
people would love to
popularity
watch
matters. Push it.
that. The thing, any idiot can go and get his sim account and record it. I'm just saying. I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but I'm just saying. And I'm not trading live today. I'm still not confident about a few things, so I want to give it a little bit more time. Although this one is going pretty well, isn't it?
YouTube IA. Do it face with tears of joy.
Yeah, I wish.
YouTube popularity matters. I'm starting a channel and I am just gonna push it and pretend like I am a reckless poker player.
A reckless. That was a good misspelling. Why is overnight repo so high? He's probably seeing the zero hedge tweets as well. Okay. And now 5.5 pulling again. Interesting. So they did kind of step on the gas pedal there a little bit when we were at 05, 05 half. Um, it's kind of ticked up, and now they're kind of playing these level 2 games with us. And also, the level 2 seems to be very sensitive to the mini changes. So,
YouTube, Algo Lover, CL if buyers maintain their bid above 61, then 64.25 target. If 61 breaks before that target trades, then anticipate a deeper pullback nerd face.
okay. We'll take the 4, because I don't know what's going on. I feel kind of bad giving up 2 ticks like that, but I'm just... Something about this whole situation makes me very uneasy.
YouTube, IA, I think oil gonna fly NGL.
Man, oil is, I'm glad that I don't trade oil. Because the whole mind game behind, you have a move that big, and is it going to go higher or is it going to retrace, is a real, that's not a trade I'm good at. Let's just say that. Okay, uptick.
YouTube, popularity matters. I feel bad for not speculating and riding that big move.
The big move down? Hmm. I'm surprised. Um, shouldn't be surprised. Like it gave me some readings, and I read it as that they were going to move lower, and it worked out. Or you shouldn't be surprised, but I have
YouTube, popularity matters. No on oil yesterday.
no on oil yesterday. Yeah, right. And it did give us a reversal there at 05. So like I said, there was like they ticked it down to it, and there was a little bit of pushing, but then it kind of ticked up unceremoniously. That's kind of the thing you're looking for. Is like there's pressure, and then they tick the other way like it's no big deal. That's kind of your tell that somebody was just messing with the book.
YouTube, Peuchos, I expect a big move down soon like this big up today, will go down so fast.
Because probably still talking about Bitcoin. It, they set the range at the top of 2.25 is that's
YouTube, Algo Lover, did 129.045 hold bid? Thinking face.
yeah, they never touched it. They never touched it. I can't say for sure that it's over. They might just do the 4 tick pullback and then go for it again. But 04 half never went bid. So I suppose that we do the pullback here, that it could be okay to take the reversal trade, right? Or at least that's the way that Algo Lover tries to do it. He's saying, okay, the level held. Now a reversal. You're gonna have a pullback. You try and buy it on the pullback. I would like to see some kind of like if I could get a golden signal around here or something like that. This would be the kind of spot where we would see it. Yeah, I think giving up the 2 ticks on that trade was a little bit of a mistake. Should have only let it come up that one. It's kind of a tough call because when you get on a spot like that, a 5K sell could have come through there at any time. You never know, right?
YouTube popularity matters. I'm not trading today, but I just trading your dom. I would have made my struggle 1 tick in ZN a moment ago.
Their struggle 1 tick. New pull from the hill says
YouTube
Biden
algo
holds
lover,
12-point
we
lead.
WLD have entered that for continuation up with 1 to 2 tick stop. Either goes or we lose a tick or 2 thumbs up.
Right. I mean, you could buy it at 05 half. The thing is, I can't tell it's over. Okay.
YouTube popularity matters. When I get back home getting my free coffee, I might work out a UB strategy.
The UB strategy. We've had a few people come in from time to
YouTube
time.
algo lover, of course, you have to know the level is there and watch for a hold or not winking face.
Yeah. Well, and knowing if it's a hold or not can be a difficult thing. They could just be building up some volume so that they go down and smack it. Like I'm not so sure that it's held, you know. Like what are the rules to sit down and say, okay, at this point it's likely to hold? I'm sure that there are
YouTube
ways of
popularity matters. UB is slippery.
I'm sure that there are ways of doing it, but I don't know what they are. Okay. I guess we're doing it.
YouTube algo lover, you said it did, right? Thinking face.
It held that test. That time, uh, 05 went bid. It was 05 bid, 05 half offer. A few traded into 05, but not a whole lot. And then it ticked back up, and we had the 4 tick pullback, and then they returned back to 05. But again, 04 half is never traded. But that's where I'm saying, how do you know that it's not a descending wedge and that they're just building a bit of volume through here, and then when they have enough orders, they're just gonna cream this
YouTube
thing?
algo lover, can't wait for many more grinning face.
Yeah. So this is where I feel like that there's a lot of discretion involved. I'm sure that some people have some a really good system for determining if something like that is going to break, but for me,
YouTube,
it's
algo lover, you never know. This is Trading Pal Face with tears of joy.
yeah, exactly. Um, but I can say that the way that it's trading right now
YouTube,
is not your
I
usual level
am
break.
bullish bonds today.
It's not your usual level break. What it's doing right here at '06. The way it's ticking back and forth at '06 is not indicative of that they're going to go down and bust '05.
YouTube, popularity matters. I play those huge orders on the bid side by riding offer side down to it, getting out. Watch how that level trades and that tells me if I should hop on. But that is more for S.
Okay, so they stacked quite a bit at '06 that time. See, I would say that this action is not indicative of that they're going to go and break it. The only problem with saying that is that the way that we came down here was awfully strange, and so if there is this person or group of players that brought us down here, maybe they still really believe in the trade and they would go for it anyways. Well, there was a good stack at '06, but they've gone through it, and now '05 is maybe going to go. And it looked really, really good there for a second. How many have we been in this now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. I should also say it really looks clear to me that the 5-year is in charge.
YouTube, popularity matters. Front running is so 2005, bro. Smiley face.
Right? Well, that's an interesting thought. That brings up an interesting thought to me because I always kind of thought of my strategy as front running the big guys. But I don't feel like that describes my strategy very well anymore. I think that my strategy is kind of more um, waiting for a spot where there's too many people on one side. Why is the okay? So we're gonna have this news come out here. That's what's going on. We got about 30 seconds.
YouTube, popularity matters. Front running is what the Pit Boys did. You wait for pressure.
Okay, well, let's look. The number that we're looking for, industrial production month over month, spot 2.
YouTube,
Count. Oh,
popularity matters. A huge order in the book is not pressure.
no, it's not the huge order in the book that I'm talking about for sure. Okay. So there's the news. How much slippage did I get on that? All of it. All of it. Okay, the capacity utilization rate was slightly higher. Ooh, industrial production was zero point 0.6 versus zero point 0.2. Well, now it's definitely broke algo lover. I was thinking about trying to get out there. I waited too long. But that's okay. I mean, we had some to play with, right? Watch it carefully here. So was perhaps some of the selling just a bet on the industrial production number? I wonder. Hmm. I mean, 04 half would be a spot where I could maybe sell it, but there's a little bit too much action going on there. I think I'm going to have to just sit on the sidelines for a little bit. Think about what I just did.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, ZB's second bounce off of 159.00.
Hmm. And they're back above 05. What the hell? What the hell? Uh, what is going on? Uh, uh,
YouTube, popularity matters, lol.
right? That was fucking hilarious. I have no clue what's going on. I'm just reading the tape at this point. There is something wild out there. That was what the heck? New York Fed to conduct overnight repo operation today. Okay. What does that mean? I've never heard of such a thing. I have no clue what that
YouTube,
means.
Greg Orlovsky, again, not the bond trading that I signed up for.
Not the bond trading that I signed up for.
YouTube, popularity matters. I'm glad I am not trading today.
Fed will conduct first overnight repo in years.
YouTube, IA, someone give an explanation of the whole repo thing.
Yeah. I wish I knew. Repo will be up to 75 billion in order to keep the federal funds in range. But is that a buy or a sell? You know, the thing that's frustrating about this is that normally
YouTube, Ace trades at popularity matters. Dang it. I was planning on taking the other side of your trade.
normally, okay, that would be like a one-way move sort of a thing, you know? It seems like the market is not even entirely sure what that means. Okay, fine. That was it's kind of giving us maybe a warning there. I don't know. Well, they took an offer. You see the big order, it goes offer, and now it's all quiet. Seems to me it's an exceptional measure to counter squeeze. Not sure how/why it's moving the long end like that, though. I think it's something that should move us down, but I'm only saying that because the trend still appears to be down. Okay.
YouTube, J constant, high Bitcoin bullish. Altcoins look bottomed out.
Why so many people come in asking me about Bitcoin today? Are you and all your buddies at the exchange running another one of them
YouTube, IA,
social
buy the
media
bond pullback, grinning
campaigns?
face.
One of them social media campaigns? Because the last time that a bunch of people were coming over talking about Bitcoin, it started doing fishy things. I'm looking at that chart and I'm like, who cares? I don't know. That setup in Bitcoin doesn't particularly interest me, and I'm a little perplexed to why I've had 3 people now today come in and ask me about it. What is it about that that's so interesting to you?
YouTube, J constant.
He says, lol. Well, Jay Constant has been in almost every day, so maybe you're a little bit different, but you're not the first person to come in and ask about Bitcoin today, like you usually are. Well, there was a lot of opportunity here in this, but it looks like so far I'm getting bupkis. Perhaps that move was just like, okay, somebody had a short on because they knew, or they were predicting at the very least, that the industrial production number was going to be good, and then the news about the repo rate whatever came out, and so they exited their position, and that's why it went up so fast or something. Even though perhaps that news is bearish for treasuries.
YouTube, Ace trades. Ben Franklin always said, buy Bitcoin before it's all gone.
Oh, Ace. It reminds me of back in 2017, and I was in one of those Facebook groups. It wasn't the E-mini one, but it was some sort of trading group. And there was this one guy in particular that was talking about
YouTube,
Bitcoin all the
algo
time.
lover. So, we'd be stopped for a tick or two on that ZN trade, so we move on to next trade. Okay hand.
Yeah. Well, I did try taking it long, but then it was news and I was like, oh, I need to get out of this. And I was just thinking I could get out at break even, and then it just, the news came out and it just went. And so I stopped out and I took slippage on it. But it's okay. And then when they came back up, I sold it a little bit, and I was just like, there was this spoof, and so I was like, okay, let's not mess with, let's not, stick our neck out there too much. But then it fell down. I was right. So I'm a little mad about that. I've had a hard time with this. They're pulling out all of their tricks, and I've kind of, my reaction has basically been to be like, nope, nope, nope. Even though I'm actually catching it right. So it's like I don't trust myself or something. Well, I'm getting a push here in the 5-year. I don't know if that's a reversal or...
YouTube, Ace trades. I am getting a short signal at 2,998.25, but too close to open.
How did you get it to do it? Say it like that. I'.m? Did you do that on purpose? Did you know that it would read it like that? Because I really liked the way that she said that. Yeah. Now, it's interesting, Algo Lovers trade, because the level was a significant level, but then they appeared to hold it, and then the news came out and it didn't hold it.
YouTube, Ace trades. Nope, typed too fast.
And then it was like, okay, so they broke it. So it's a stop run, it's a short, right? And then they had that huge crazy move back up. And then they're coming back down and they're lower. So it's kind of like I would have to say Algo Lover was right, but it almost doesn't matter because even with that whole strategy, um, you probably would have got screwed around with in that area, even if you were really patient with it. It's just this is a weird trade. Okay, so this is telling me that I need to think about getting out. Probably because this is the exit for the E-mini. Okay. Fed to keep technical repo operation to keep its benchmark rate where it wants it. So repo and reverse repo operations, NewYorkFed.org.
YouTube Algo Lover reminder: if there is another bid higher today, ZN 129 215 is line in sand for sellers to halt this squeeze and turn the MKT or not. Nerd face.
Gotcha. We're definitely in a sell now.
YouTube IA buy bonds and sell S and pray at the open.
I would still, so levels I would be watching for below us is going to be like that 01, which was the opening range high, and 31, and then maybe some more technical levels here. Do we have any?
YouTube really. Ace trades at Algo Lover as a glasses wearer.
03.
To hell with your nerd face.
02 half. 02 half, which we're about to touch, was yesterday's point of control. So that's where we're at. I'm going to wait for the E-mini to start trading and do its thing. We have news at the top of the hour. Let's try and figure out what this repo thing is about, okay? The New York Fed conducts overnight reverse repo operations each day as a means to help keep the federal funds rate in the target range set by the Federal Open Market Committee. Operation results include all repo and reverse repo operations conducted, including small value
YouTube
exercises.
Uzi Knesset, nerd face, nerd face, nerd face.
Okay, so this means they have the overnight repo function, and people do stuff that makes it move away from the federal funds rate target, and so they conduct operations to push it back to where it's supposed to be. That's what it is. That's what it is. But is it positive or negative for bonds? How do they conduct those? What do they buy it with?
YouTube Algo Lover HAGD. Thumbs up.
A reach purpose agreement, repo, is a form of short-term borrowing
YouTube
for dealers
Ace
and
trades
government
at
securities.
Algo Lover right back at you, bro. Honeybee face with tears of joy, smiling face with sunglasses, face savoring food, hot dog.
In the case of a repo, the dealer sells government securities to investors, usually on an overnight basis, and buys them back the following day. For the party selling the security and agreeing to
YouTube
repurchase
Uzi
in the
Knesset,
future,
lol.
it is a repo. For the party on the other end of the transaction buying the security and agreeing to sell in the future, it is a reverse repurchase agreement. Repos are typically used to raise short-term capital. Repurchase agreements are generally considered safe investments because the security in question functions as collateral, which is why most agreements involve U.S. Treasury bonds classified as a money market instrument. A repurchase agreement functions in effect as a short-term collateral-backed interest-bearing loan The buyer acts as a short-term lender, while the seller acts as a short-term borrower. The securities being sold are the collateral, thus the goals of both parties, secured funding and liquidity, are met. So is that why they're selling it? Uh, I mean, if I'm understanding that correctly, that means that the Treasury is going to buy stuff, right? The moment they seem to care more about what the E-mini is doing. Oh, look at that. I didn't get it. I'm a little nervous about it now. Especially since it's doing this thing. Like, what the heck? Okay, let's keep reading. I missed that one. Missed that one. The Federal Reserve enters into repurchase agreements to regulate the money supply and bank reserves. Individuals normally use these agreements to finance the purchase of debt securities or other investments. Repurchase agreements are strictly short-term investments, and their maturity is called the rate, the term, or the tenor.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, ZB if 59 can't hold next Probus 58, 27.
So, in effect, the Treasury is going to sell some treasuries today on and with an agreement to buy them tomorrow.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, breaking 27 leaves us with the opening range for a test and 58, 12 for a downside target on a break. YouTube, IA, lol, I would have gotten wrecked by now.
You would have gotten wrecked by now. Well, my caution has, I don't know. My caution has worked out for me, but I could have done so much better at the same time, right? So, I don't know. The way I'm looking at it right now, there was a potential reversal there, and it's kind of fallen through. I would say that they are now extremely likely to touch the low. Due to the similarities to collateralized loans, repos are actually purchases. Look at that. I take that one. Oh. Now the equity market is starting to get a little crazy. It seems really thick over there in the E-mini today, doesn't it? Repos with longer tenors are usually considered higher risk. When government central banks repurchase securities from private banks, they do so at a discounted rate known as the repo rate. Like prime rates, repo rates are set by central banks. The repo rate system allows governments to control the money supply within economies by increasing or decreasing available funds. A decrease in repo rates encourages banks to sell securities back to the government in return for cash. This increases the money supply available to the general economy. Conversely, by increasing repo rates, central banks can effectively decrease the money supply by discouraging banks from reselling these securities.
YouTube, Ace Trades, I think the S&P is getting ready to drop.
I kind of agree. I kind of see it. I don't see a spot. But let's keep stay frosty. After losing control of rates again. Shortly after everyone began to realize something was very broken in the short-term liquidity markets, the New York Fed announced it will conduct an overnight repo operation for the first time in a decade. In accordance with the FOMC directive issued the July 31st, 2019,
YouTube ace trades me neither too whippy still.
The repo operation will be conducted with primary dealers for up to an aggregate amount of 75 billion. Securities eligible as collateral
YouTube
in the
IA
repo
at ace trades. I am also bearish today but not moving my way. RN.
Include Treasury agency debt and agency mortgage-backed securities. Primary dealers will be permitted to submit up to 2 propositions per security type. There will be a limit of 10 billion per proposition submitted in this operation. Propositions will be awarded based on their attractiveness relative to a benchmark rate for each collateral type and are subject to a minimum bid rate of 2.1%. Surges in the repo rate normally occur at quarter end and sometimes month end. As Bloomberg notes, the mid-month surge was attributed to a confluence of events that knocked cash reserves in the banking system out of balance with the volume of securities on dealer balance sheets. A corporate tax payment date, settlement of last week's Treasury auctions, and last week's bond market sell-off in which investors sold securities back to the dealers. Something critical is going on in overnight funding markets. Ever since March 20th, the effective funds rates has been trading above the IOER, which means that we're selling too much. Right? If the rate is going high, prices are going the opposite way. Prices are moving down. So because prices have been moving down, the IOER is going the other way. This should be a buy. If I'm understanding that correctly, this should be a buy. So then why did they sell? Maybe they sold because
YouTube
it was...
Uzi Knesset buyers defending the 27.
Maybe it was because that's like a makes them question the comment. Okay, I'm getting another kind of a thing here. They're pushing it again here. As a reminder, ever since the financial crisis, in order to push the effective fund rates above zero at a time of trillions in excess reserves, the Fed was compelled to create a corridor system for the Fed funds rate, which was bound on the bottom and top by 2 specific rates controlled by the Federal Reserve. The floor for the corridor was the overnight reverse repurchase rate, which usually coincides with the lower bound of the Fed funds rate, while on top, the effective funds rate is bound by the rate the Fed pays on excess reserves, which served as the corridor ceiling. Or at least that's the theory. In practice, the effective federal funds tends to occasionally diverge from this corridor, and when it does, it prompts fear that the Fed is losing control over the most important instrument available to it, the price of money, which is set via the Fed funds rate. So my theory is...
YouTube Wimmer Kevin, haha, crude oil talking a crap. $2 down in 3 minutes.
Really?
What's happening?
Oh man, really? Holy shnikes. Saudi oil output will be fully back online in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Top Saudi source briefed on latest development. Perhaps that's what's causing oil moving? Yeah, I don't know. So my read is we've been selling too much. It's created pressure on the IOER. It's made it go too high. And so the Fed is coming in and doing something to kind of put it in control. That would mean...
YouTube Uzi Knesset, no we losing 27 lol.
I would think that means it's a buy. But there's probably some counter thinking in here, like there could be reason for some people to sell because of that. Like they want to get rid of everything because they know that they're going to be able to buy it back up at a better better price later or something like that. I don't know. Oil creators. So this oil trade certainly seems to be because of this news that just came out about the Saudi oil or output will return. Saudi oil output will return to normal levels quicker than initially thought. Two sources briefed on Saudi oil operations. This is just, I've never been more confused. Mm-hmm. I also did not see. Okay, I think that maybe the reason why my currencies look the way that they do is because they rolled over. Yep, that's what's going on there. Some big volume coming
YouTube
through here.
Ace Trades, they are not taking my money today.
They're not taking my money today. Okay, so now I can see. Yes, that's right. 6J moving down. The British pound moving up. The 6E moving up potentially. Gold is actually coming back down. Hmm.
YouTube, this is what happened to oil. RTRS,
Yep,
Saudi oil
same
output will be
news.
fully back online in next 2-3 weeks. Top Saudi source briefed on latest development.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, guys, anybody buy that one? Wait, what the fuck? New York Fed
YouTube,
cancels.
Wimmer Kevin, $3 down now. Rip bulls. Holy fuck, not one pullback to get in.
New York Fed cancels repo
Twitch
operation due
Dojo
to technical
2022, Ghostig over
difficulties.
on Twitch got blown out with a $42,000 loss. He went public with it, so I'm now putting his business in the piazza. He took like 6 full CL contracts short over the weekend with stops in place,
Oh,
but it gapped open.
shit.
That's why you gotta spread 'em. He said it was 6% of his wealth. I did the same thing a couple years back, but not quite that big. Ah.
Okay. So they. What the. Man.
YouTube, J Constant. I thought XRP broke out and bought at 2,710 Satoshi.
Hmm. I mean, Bitcoin has been moving a little bit. I guess there's been more movement this week than in the past. I don't know what to make of this. I feel like that we could buy it now, but it's this is like all news driven, and this is news that is like over my head, you know? I'm excited because we're going to learn a ton today, right? Cuz the overnight repo rate and kind of like the way that the short-term funding and everything works has always been something that's been discussed, but that I never felt like I completely understood what was going on.
YouTube IA taking 6 CLs over the weekend, bruh.
Now, yeah, why would you hold CL 1 CL over the weekend, right? That's pretty crazy. That will be reopened as soon as possible. What a mess. It was supposed to take place right now. I imagine they will try again within an hour or two. What's going on?
YouTube Greg Orlovsky NY Fed going to try again.
Yeah. Technical difficulties, guys. Technical difficulties. uh,
YouTube J Constant when WLL oil prices increase. After the bombing?
yeah, yeah. Well, if they get their oil production up in 3 weeks, they'll just hit them again. Is that is that what the deal is? You know what? I've never seen more. This is, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when Russia um, invaded Ossetia or where was that place that they took on the okay. See,
YouTube Greg Orlovsky tech diff code word for how to get the best position to scam.
right? But no, remember when Russia was doing all of their nonsense back? You know, that seems like forever ago. It was long before we were doing this. And all of the news that you'd see out on social media and everything was so confusing and conflicting and stuff. And it was totally the Russians were coming in and doing disinformation and stuff. And it really feels like the same thing is happening with this
YouTube
Saudi
IA does
attack.
anyone think the terrorists wear long CL options rolling on the floor laughing?
I see so many conspiracy theories, really, is the only way I can describe them. Conspiracy theories that make no sense to me. Like the Saudis attacked it themselves to make oil prices go up. That makes no sense at all. No sense. And yeah, it's just like trying to your normal. I normally would like to go to Reddit to figure out what's going on, and you can't do that now. You have to actually understand the dynamics of what's going on first.
YouTube J Constant in Holland there is a negative interest rate on saving accounts of 0.5% thanks Draghi.
Yeah, thanks, Draghi. Well, so far our signal is turning out, but it's not going too quickly. Oh, okay, that was better.
YouTube J Constant everything getting worse here. Prices in supermarkets getting ridiculous.
Really? How much is it like a gallon of milk over there?
YouTube, J Constant, R.
Zero Hedge has a good summary there. Repo rates explode most on record. New York Fed scrambles to conduct repo to inject
YouTube,
liquidity.
Ace Trades, how much for a tulip bulb?
15 minutes later, New York Fed announced repo canceled due to technical difficulties. There should be more in this, but I'm just reading it. So on that one, very strong move up. Zipper, no interest. Potential inflection point. They might turn down a tick and then go higher. I don't know, but I thought that was a pretty good long. Might as well, you know. Man, if if we hadn't taken that second trade or we had gotten out,
YouTube,
we'd be
J
doing
Constant,
awesome.
we have liters. 4.5 liter is 1 gallon, I believe, and 1 liter is around 1.20 euro. That's $1.35.
Okay, this is not terrible. It's not terrible. This trade was a mistake, essentially, right? It's funny that I took -4, but the MAE is 1. That's how much slip it is. So it claims, oh no, wait, I'll refresh it and it fixed it.
YouTube, Wimmer Kevin, does oil influence the bonds?
There is a correlation between them that I don't completely understand. So here's another question. Let's come back over to the chart. Okay. Let's come back over to the chart. Okay, here's the ZN chart. They're telling us, I'm going to keep it like really zoomed in here so that we can just see the last 2 days, okay? They said that the overnight IOER rate spiked the most on record. Do we see anything unusual in treasuries? Not really. So, okay, so there was that continuation that I was like, knew was coming, but didn't. Curious. I'm glad I did that one the way I did. Was one tick there really worth it? I don't know, but that trade worked really well. I was like, well, there's a reload up there. They might flip it here. I could take one. Man, is it really going to flip? This price here makes me a little bit uneasy because you can see it's changing, but did we actually get, you know, some sort of a level 2 signal showing that they were putting pressure on it and moving it? We did not. So it is now failing due to lack of interest. Not so sure that you sell that though. Okay, now they're turning on the gas pedal as it's moving down. Yeah, I only took 4 on that. One, two, three, 4. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoa, how much could I have gotten on that? Holy shit, dude. I really left a lot on the table that time, didn't I? '02 to '08, 12 ticks. This stuff up here up at the top was from the open. Before the open, in fact, I think. Is the Fed's 25 basis point cut canceled due to technical difficulties too? Oh my gosh. Total chaos. Pete Buttigieg receives the key to the city of Conway, South Carolina. Okay. Yeah, I have to say, on the race, I'm just thinking about this now because I saw that story. I don't want to take a trade here. Buttigieg was like the one person in the race that was like, hey, maybe saying that we're going to take everybody's guns is like a bad idea. He seems to be right to me. Could be wrong, but he seems to be like a little bit more thoughtful.
Twitch, Dojo 2022, just posted 1 hour 10 period correlation with crude on Discord in hashtag crude.
That with crude and interest rates? Or is that just with everything? Let's see. Let us look. Crude. Oh, Zerv has been trading crude. Oh boy. With ZB.
Twitch, Dojo 2022, crude and ZB.
So, wow. Here, that's a good chart. Well done. Good job. So it's gone from a positive correlation to a negative correlation back and forth over the past week. So I'm going to say there is something to the correlation, but whether you should be buying or selling it doesn't tell you. Might as well be no correlation. British Airways flight BA8 from Tokyo declares mid-air emergency inbound to London Heathrow. Daily FX Team Live. Our data shows the vast majority of traders in Ripple are long at 98.25%, while traders in France 40 are at opposite extremes with 76.46. Sounds like
YouTube, J Constant, why is Bitcoin hash rate at all-time high? Do they something we don't?
Why wouldn't it be at all-time high, J Constant? Honestly, if you're building a Bitcoin mining operation, why would you suddenly say, well, going to turn all my machines off? I know I've invested thousands, millions of dollars in this huge mining operation, lived in China. I mean, because come on, who would want to live in China right now? And at the risk of the Chinese government shutting you down, frankly, right? And then all of a sudden you just say, well, let's turn it off, and the hash, and then the hash rate goes down. Why would anybody do that? Nobody does that. I'll tell you who. Nobody does that. The only reason that the hash rate goes down is because people are forced out. So unless we're having some sort of huge bubble burst like we had in 2017, and there's probably one coming, but for now, it seems like that they're just going to kind of hang out here. Then there's no reason that the hash rate shouldn't continue to rise. There is not a correlation between hash rate and price. It doesn't matter. You can have all the hash rate you want. People aren't using Bitcoin. Doesn't matter. Okay, well, they did push up just a hair higher there, but oh, actually, they seem to be suggesting that they could. Well, maybe not. And now it's going to range back and forth here. I suspect that they will continue forward, but I don't like getting in at a price like that. Good pull. I'm so funny. I'm just taking like one tick here and there. Should be holding on to it. I don't like the way it's ticking. I really don't like the way that it's ticking. It's funny that I saw that trade I took at 02. They come up. We're looking at the liquidity. Okay, they left something behind. That was when they left it behind. It's might show up further up here. Iceberg at 09. Okay, New York Fed restarts repo operation. I was a little late. Closes at 10:15 BST. What is that? When is that? That would be in 5 minutes our time. And of course, the move up comes back. So this takes us back to the earlier question. What was with the sell before? If this doesn't sell hard, then what was with the sell before? Hmm. Someone's gonna have to explain. Because remember,
YouTube, J Constant. I need to go. Thanks.
remember the discount window stigma? How many organizations will be willing to admit they were caught in a funding squeeze and needed repo access? Hmm. This is really odd action. Well, let's. Oh yeah, there was some news at the top of the hour. What came of that? The housing market index. We received a reading of 68 versus a forecast of 66 and a previous reading of 67. So not too odd. I wonder if they say anything about this on Reddit. So I knew. Absolutely nothing out there about it. They don't even know. It's hinting at more upside at the moment. Hmm. Well, they had a little bit of a stopping move up there, but it still seems a little too calm. I don't know. That might mean a reversal, but where's that? Hmm. I just don't understand why you'd be so interested in a short term move on Bitcoin. Like, it's random as far as I'm concerned. I don't. I do not believe that you can consistently make money day trading Bitcoin. If someone can show me a strategy that has had a consistent edge over the past 3 years in Bitcoin, then I will believe. But I don't see it. There's a fire outside, apparently. Far away from me, but I'm seeing it on the news. Relatively close. Same county as me, at least.
YouTube, J Constant, I am back. I want to buy something not digital that will keep its value or better increases in value. But I don't know what.
Something not digital that will keep its value. Listen, there's nothing that just goes one direction, guys. There's nothing that just goes one direction. You want something that's just like always gonna go up all the time. It doesn't exist, right? The most you can do is you can look at the particular environment that you're in and look at it and have your own forecast. If you're expecting some volatility in the future, I would say that Treasuries is a really good buy. Because if we started like a war with Iran, these things are shooting up, you know? So this whole thing today confuses me because they come out, there's clearly like two sides to a trade. Maybe I was just lucky, but my read was that the sellers were going to win. It does move down. As we're moving down, they announce that they're going to do a repo operation. Then it really starts moving down. And then the repo operation gets canceled. We move back up. And then the repo operations restarts again, and we're still kind of moving up / gone sideways. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out, okay, so is a repo operation good or bad for treasuries? And I would tend to think that it would be good because that's like them injecting money into the economy to help out banks that are caught, I think. But the action on it is not clear. Now they're selling again.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, 20 years of day trading and I don't even know what products the Fed bought back or sold.
So not even Greg completely understands it, huh? Well, but I mean, maybe that's a part of why we saw the action that we did, is because the futures traders don't understand it. Maybe they got it wrong. Maybe that sell was like a people misunderstanding what's going on, or maybe it was just a trap. I mean, remember when one of my favorite trading stories, something that I remember very clearly, was the day that they announced quantitative easing, the E-mini sold. They sold that news, and they were so dead wrong. That after the bell rang, They started buying it up overnight. It was up, and then the next day it was just gangbusters. And that was one of the best buying opportunities he ever had in history, like ever. And they got it wrong. Could just be that the futures market doesn't really know what's going on, and it could take a little while for this to. I mean, if I mean, the other thing is that I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, so these are like overnight discount window things, right? So should it even really actually affect the treasuries? Not directly, but maybe it tells us something about the economy that's not good. Okay, New York Fed takes 53 billion of treasury securities in repo op, but that was not the number that they were talking about before. Zero Hedge is tweeting a picture. Treasury submitted 40. Agency mortgage back total 53. I don't know. They're back to support it at 08. I bet my wife. So my wife, she's been working. By the way, we're getting a huge outsized thing that like they pushed it here. They might reverse again and go higher. I don't know. I think it's a little bit too close to my time, and I don't want to screw up a good thing. I think it's a reversal. But anyways, she's been working pretty awful hours because with when you're a flight attendant, the hours that you work are not necessarily the hours that you're gone because they only count the time when the door is closed. She's had long work days. And I think she was planning on sleeping in, but the animals, they all knew. They were like, well, she hasn't left yet, and it's 8 o'clock, so I'm going to start barking. So I bet you she's pretty pissed that she had to come down and let them out. It is telling me to buy this. I know I just said I don't want to screw up a good thing, but well, okay, good grief, what the hell? Where did I put that at? They ticked up and then they shoved it down 2 ticks. That kind of sucks. That is like probably the worst fill I've ever gotten. Or was it that I? No, it was a stop limit order. So I must have stuck it in at 08. Because I had a hard time because I don't remember which price I stuck it in at, and then the DOM reset. So I was like, well, I don't remember where it was now. No, they did buy it up, and then they okay. There's some interesting stuff going on in the 5 year here.
Less than at 201 quadrillion 689 trillion 47 billion 58 million 350,080 greater than. Are you more or less saying the work experience kids have taken over all the trading desks today?
I don't know. All right, uptick. That was in the stream. Oh, that was at me. That was I'm 2 billion 168 nine whatever that number was. I are you saying the work experience kids have taken over all the trading desks today? I think that there are probably a lot of people out there, even on the big trading desks, that didn't know what to do when that news hit. They were probably like, go call up what's his name in the over the counter markets or the short term funding markets. What does this mean? How do we trade this? I think that this is a legitimate buy signal, and I just was in early. Hmm. Well, they didn't take '08.
YouTube, popularity matters. I'm back home and experimenting in UB. I'm down $7. I quit trading for good. I'm taking up Professional Magic the Gathering.
Professional Magic the Gathering. Play Hearthstone. Become a Hearthstone streamer. Well, I guess the Hearthstone isn't as popular because people are playing Magic now, huh? I guess it kind of flipped for a while, didn't it? Overwatch is getting popular again, but you really got to practice for that one. What else is there? Maybe you get lucky, become a Fortnite champion. Or poker. You could do poker. Oh man, I can't imagine the people that do professional poker. Like, I understand if you're good at it and everything, but even if you're good at it, man, that sounds like a tough business. Even tougher. It's like
YouTube,
trading,
popularity matters. My fav mobile game is Dig It. I doubt PPL want to watch me play it.
poker. I mean, it's a lot like trading, but it's even more difficult, I would say. Okay. Well, that could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse. I still kind of think that they might
YouTube,
move up
popularity
again.
matters. Seth, I used to be a professional online poker player in the mid 2000s. It was easy back then, now it is hard and mostly illegal in the US. Only good players left.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the problems with a lot of these kind of ventures is that it's like only a small number of people can get good at it. Like streaming is a really good example, and I hesitate to say this because I could be like completely dead wrong, but I believe that the live streaming market is in a bubble. I think that Ninja, he will in the future he will probably continue to make a ton of money out of it, but paying a streamer $1 million to play a game is too much. And I don't now that everybody realizes that that's a strategy, it's going to be less effective. And I don't think that streamers are going to make as much money. And I don't think that people are going to pay as much for Patreon going forward unless there's really something they get out of it. It's like I was looking at this the other day. There's this guy that has a series about Overwatch, and if you pay the $5 to his Patreon, then you can ask questions in the question asking channel of the Discord. But overall, I think that making money from streaming is only going to be harder, and it's only going to be like the people at the top of the stack that will continue to make a ton of money from it. But like nobody's going to accept that. And so you're still going to see tons of kids trying to stream and go nowhere with it. And it seems to me like that's always kind of happening all over the place. Happened with poker. It really happened with trading.
YouTube popularity matters, saturation plus competition plus new games plus exposure fatigue.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is in markets, one of the big things that I just don't think that a lot of short-term traders realize is that the amount of money that you make is very dependent on the market. The treasury market, it's been easier to make money because a lot of money has been thrown at this market, is coming in and out. And the more money that you have coming in and out from the hedgers, the more there potentially is for you as a retail trader to try and pull out. And when it's dead, like it was after Donald Trump got elected, there was that period of time where volatility was really, really low. That's that there's no volatility. Hedgers aren't coming into the market. It's very, very difficult as
YouTube
a retail trader
popularity
to make
matters.
money.
As a trader, I would hate to show my real trading style. I would show another style that I don't use.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm a little cryptic about it. Like, because I can sit down and I can say, well, I'm seeing something here and I think that they're going to go through or not. I don't think I completely understand myself how I know sometimes when it's going to go one way and when it's not. And of course, I have days where I'm like right every time and I have days where I'm wrong every time. But I think you're right. I mean, well, and it also depends on the strategy. I think with the sort of thing that I do, that the more people that are involved in it, the
YouTube
better.
popularity matters. Yes, treasuries have been good over the last 4 weeks. Tons of fear money coming in to hedge. The inversion fear weeks are the best in the treasuries.
Yeah, you get really interesting order flow when the curve was inverting, didn't we? This is some good opportunity for sure. Liquidity panic. I mean, I feel like a liquidity panic is a buy, but whatever. They're selling it. Well, the E-mini's moving up a little bit, so that seems like why they're selling.
YouTube popularity matters. I have an edge I've been working hard to develop for 5 years. No way I'm sharing that with YouTube noobs. I don't want a bunch of PPL
Yeah.
trading just like me.
Well, one of the things that I find interesting is that people will come in and share information with us. They might not necessarily tell us how, but they still share it. And it's kind of like, well, why? I appreciate it. People are nice, but the way I'm looking at it, well, I look at it two ways. One is that there's only like 12 people here. So as long as my trading isn't absolutely amazing, I don't think that there's a whole lot of trouble with it getting sussed out. But then the other thing is that I feel like that what I'm doing is a little bit more fundamental to the market. Like it's not I'm not looking at like some sort of really narrow edge case that just nobody has found, and I have trades like that actually work pretty well as well. But I'm just reading the flow. I have a way of telling when everybody seems to be positioned one direction, and I trade it. And the more people involved at that spot, probably the better that trade is going to work out.
YouTube, Cheris Leonkova, share the edge, bro. We will fade it
We
for
will
sure.
fade it for sure. But then, there's a meta to it. Like, it changes. It's not always like I said, like 60% of the time it's a reversal, but it's not always a reversal. And if you try and play it as a reversal, you're probably going to lose money at some point. You're or at the very least, you're going to hit a losing streak that's longer than you want. So to me, I can still tell you guys information about it and even what's happening and still have an edge because my edge is more watching it every day, understanding the context and knowing what how the meta might affect that particular signal to read the changes. And so that's part of your edge that can survive if the market makes a significant change. I definitely had stuff where it was like I was doing something for like 3 months and it was like amazing, and then all of a sudden when I really started to get confident with it, it started going the other way. Totally happened 2 or 3 times on me now. But I suppose if it ever gets really bad, or we get really popular, we might just have to like show you guys a different screen. Like I enter my orders somewhere else so that you can't see them. But I'm not too concerned about that. I don't think they're ever going to get that popular. There's just not that many people that are interested in Treasury futures. You know what I mean? It's also kind of interesting, like with hold on.
YouTube, popularity matters. When the big money comes in, you can't fade the move as it happens. You will get bulldozered. Now you can fade it once it hits exhaustion. Watch the auctioning, then catch the herd on the wrong side.
Yeah, that's totally what I try and do. Or I see somebody, I mean, taking it. It's just like they push it. They push it. This one right here, they were pushing it. Yeah, it happened at that time they won. And I realized what was going on before it really took a dive and got out at +1. Cool. I didn't know that they were going to push back down as far as they did. Now that they're back to this '04 half area, I'm kind of still a little.
YouTube, popularity matters. When PPL see numbers at a DOM, they think of middle school math and get sick.
Yeah, right. Probably never going to be the top streamer on Twitch, right? Like I said, it just depends on what your edge is. Like for instance, Ace's edge. He has a really good way of catching when they turn around that really holds well. And it looks to be something
YouTube,
particular.
popularity matters. FK this math bro, I wanna trade.
I totally understand it's something that you wouldn't share with everybody. Order flow is a little bit different because like everybody can see it and it's like totally discretionary. So there's like John Grady said, like the more people that are doing it, probably the better it is for you if you really understand it. I'm seeing some pushing in the 5-year. They still might flip here. I mean that first flip was wrong, obviously. Here's another potential point. Should keep in mind that the 5-year kind of seems to be the leader, so maybe now that the 5-year is doing it, that makes it a better trade. I don't know. It's past 8:30 though, so I'm not going to try. It's Tuesday. Let's see, there it is. Stopped. They're trading back up into 04. Will you buy that? I think I would have to buy that. It would be really interesting if they came here to this 04 and then they just completely reversed again back up. I think that's really unlikely, though. I think that there's just going to be a little bit of a pullback, maybe.
DLive BITZOCK Gaming. Hi.
Hey, thank you, BitZonk. Didn't read that very
DLive
well.
BITZOCK Gaming. What you doing?
Well, so we've been trading the Treasury futures. It's kind of, we did okay. You know, this one right here. Oh, whoops, that's the wrong window. That's Discord. Wrong window. Let's talk about these trades again. Right? So this one right here was a mistake. That -4, because I took it long. I think I had a legitimate reason to think that it was holding that price, but I didn't realize that there was news, and I was kind of drug my feet in getting out of it, and then the news came and hit me there at -4, kind of a stop run. So that was a mistake. That shouldn't happen. And then all of this stuff was this news to do with the repo. I think I'm incredibly lucky to have gotten 5 in a row. It's pretty good. And then on this one, that could have been much worse, but only me losing 1 on that. I mean, we could have very easily have had a $250 day. It would have been awesome. But I'll take 187. That's fine too. Doing okay.
DLive BITZOCK Gaming. Mistakes is what make us human.
Right? Anyways, kind of some weird stuff going on over at the Fed today, and I don't understand it. And it seems to me that a lot of people in the market don't understand it. So I'm hoping that later today we'll get lots of news about it, and we will learn something new about the markets, and that will make us better traders. I'm hoping. Yeah, there's certainly could be a turn here, but I think it's time to go. I think I'm going to head out. I only trade for 2 hours. Thanks for saying hi on DLive. I know there's usually not very many people on that platform, even though we're streaming every day, but most people watch on YouTube. Well, you know, it's cool. I like meeting the new
DLive
people.
BITZOCK Gaming. Okay, bye bye.
Yep. So I'm here every morning starting at 8:20. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope that the market action was kind to you. And so I'll see you tomorrow. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.